Hey guys, what is up? Hope you guys are having a good day. Today I'm going to be making a video on how to and why to quarantine your new fish. First, we will start off on why you should quarantine your new fish. It is important to quarantine your new fish because even if your fish is coming from a reliable source, when you are transporting your fish, its immune system goes down. It gets stressed, it just isn't as healthy, and it could get sick just going home in the car. It could be perfectly fine at the pet store, and when you're in the car and on the way home, it could develop something. You put it in your tank and you don't see it for 2-3 days later, and then after 2 or 3 days it already has it. It's already given it to your other fish. Boom, now all your other fish are sick and you have to quarantine all of your fish, and you may lose some of your fish, and that definitely sucks if you have an established tank that's already doing great and you're just hoping to add a couple more. But then nope, they kill all your other fish. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten new fish, put them in the tank, and after 2 days realize they have ick, or there's just some dying and it's a disease that you can't even see what it is. Especially with these guys right here, any type of loach, because they are scaleless, they can get ick and any other type of disease so much more easy. I have bought in many loaches, and every time I've bought a loach, I have had an issue with ick and an ick outbreak. Now I'm wanting some new fish for this aquarium, so I thought no perfect time other than to show you guys how to quarantine your fish. If I just bought some fish, even if they're fine at the pet store, I could throw them in here. Within a couple days, all my fish could be sick, and then I have to treat this tank. And when you treat it with ick, you have to take out the filter pads because of the carbon, and that makes your water so much worse. It ruins your plants. I cannot tell you how many times my plants have just all died because of a sickness in this tank that I've had to take care of. Now I'm going to show you guys how to quarantine your fish. And not everybody just has a quarantine tank. I don't just have a quarantine tank up and running at all times personally. I know some people do, but I do not. But it's easy to set one up, and with most tanks you want to let them cycle, but there's always ways around that. So I just had an extra 10-gallon tank, the 15-gallon filter and heater in my closet. It wasn't set up or anything. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to fill it up about halfway with already established water that has the beneficial bacteria that it needs from my already established tank. And the tank has already been established in there for months, so the water in it is perfectly fine. All the fish in there are good, so there won't be any diseases going into this. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna fill it up halfway with the already established water with the beneficial bacteria, and then halfway with new water, and I will see you guys when it's filled. All right, and now it is full, and you can tell that I used some of my other tank water because there is a little bit of stuff in the tank, but that's all right. It's just, there's also some plants at the top. It's nothing, it's not gonna hurt it. But now I'm gonna turn the filter on and plug the heater in. And now that filter is running, and I got the heater on too. The lights on. So now what I'll do is I will add some prime and some stress coat. Now this doesn't need a lot at all, just a couple drops. It should be good, just like that. And then same thing with stress coat. And now you could comfortably add fish to it, but for the sake of it, I'm just gonna give it a couple days to run, even though it already has water with beneficial bacteria in it. And I'm gonna throw a decoration in it that's already been in tanks, so that there's beneficial bacteria on that, and there's some in the sponge as well. Now, most people, they don't really like adding decorations in quarantine tanks, but personally, I find it that fish get really stressed out in a tank with nothing in it. So for the sake of quarantining your fish's health, keeping them comfortable is important, I would say. But yep, now I'm just gonna give the quarantine tank a couple days to cycle, and then I will get new fish and I will show you guys when I do. All right, what is up guys? It's now a couple days later. The water is perfect. I tested it, everything in it's good. And I now have got some fish to quarantine. Right here, we got there's a couple cardinal tetras. The last ones that they had. I wanted more, but unfortunately there's only 3. And then 6 cherry barbs
that was exactly how many I wanted, so yeah, the perfect amount. But yep, now we got them acclimating. This is the first step, obviously, when you get new fish. Now, these fish will stay in here for 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, if they're good, then they will be going into a 55-gallon planted aquarium. I say 2 weeks because some diseases take longer to show up than others, so you need to give it at least 2 weeks. Some people like to give it a month, but that's just overkill in my opinion. Unless they're sick, then obviously they will stay in here until they are healthy. So now while the fish are acclimating, I'm going to show you guys some good medicines just to always have on hand in case your fish get sick. First, you want to have some stress coat. This isn't really a medicine as much as it is a water dechlorinator, but this does help your fish just adjust to the surroundings better in the water and makes them more comfortable. Next is the medicine that is probably the most common fish disease there is. You need some ick medicine because this is the most common disease that your fish will get. If you're in fish keeping, you have dealt with ick, and it is always good to just have some ick cure on hand. Next is some Melafix. This is just for their damaged fins or just bacterial infection. So this is always a good one if you got fish that maybe were bit up a little bit in the fish store, or if they get hurt at all during the transport. But now the last thing, certainly not the least, some aquarium salt. Everybody knows about aquarium salt. It's great. Just if you do this, you need to make sure to use the right amount and you need to do frequent water changes. But that's with any ick medicine or Melafix. You need to do water changes frequently when quarantining fish just to make sure that they are healthy. But for real, why is API not sponsoring me? I use their products a lot and I spend a lot of money on them. And all of those medicines, those are just as needed. You don't just treat your fish if they're fine, but the stress coat, I will put the stress coat in right when I add the fish and anytime I do a water change, just because it's good for dechlorinator and it's good for the fish. And it just has no side effect. It won't hurt them at all. Now you will also want to do water changes at least every 2 to 3 days, just because it's a quarantine tank and you want to keep it clean. That's why you do bare bottom, so you can see anything that goes to the bottom, clean up any extra food or waste, and just keep them healthy and get them to 100%. If they're not 100%, or make sure they are 100% before they go into your already established beautiful planted aquarium. Now for the Cardinal Tetris. Boom, there they all are. They're all kind of hanging out together. There's 6 cherry barbs, and then there's 3 Cardinal Tetras. With how small they are, this decoration is kind of annoying, but it's alright. It just kind of hides them. But there they all are. Couple males, couple females for the cherry barbs. Alright, and then I am gonna just pour just a little bit of stress coat in there. Now, those guys will be all good. I'll come back and do an update a couple days later. All right, guys, it's about a week later. Those are the sugar gliders. Sorry about that. It's about a week later, and all the fish are still alive. I'm gonna try to get a video of them eating right now.
But yep, since all of them are still alive, I obviously do not need to add any medication to the water. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe if you did enjoy. See you guys next time.